Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast in this series, the LabZtorm Impact v.3. This is an audio podcast aligned to research or works that had taken place sort of between 2017 or 18 to 2020 to 2021. In this audio podcast aligned to the storm robotics blockade, and wherein this audio podcast is aligned to another storm robotics production. This audio podcast will delve into topic guides, telephone interviews, schedules, and support. So, in around this, participants were informed of telephone interview schedules once organized, and this information was outlined in a research recruitment flyer. At least in a research recruitment flyer, sort of initially, and participant information sheets. Participant information sheets were sort of made available either at recruitment site or through the Renal Patient Support Group, the RPSG, and also outlined and wherein the information sheet sort of also outlined how telephone interviews would take place. The research scientist investigator also provided contact details to all participants, so they have opportunities to ask questions. At times, it was important to remind participants regarding sort of schedules, and this was achieved sending an email or by telephone correspondence. Introductory letter or flyer was available to read with information sheets and topic guides and consent forms with research team details. And introductory letter or flyer was available to refer to and read with information sheets or participant information sheets, topic guides, and consent forms, where the research team's details were on all sort of documentations. Topic guides were also used to provide a basic content and structure of semi-structured qualitative interviews, and scheduled telephone interviews were conducted to ensure data generated was high quality and participants had positive interview experiences. Guidance sought from several texts to gain understanding of process and flow, and to ensure guidance was sought from several sort of publications and works to sort of gain an understanding of process and flow, and to also ensure again academic rigor and during and following interviews, and again guidance was implemented through sort of an academic supervisory team. Interviews seek to address the research question and aims and objectives, gaining perspectives across four cohorts, whilst recognizing that everyone had a different understanding and experience. Participants were briefed before interview recording, and involved retrieving consent, and participants were also informed about the nature of research and expectations. The research scientist investigator also informed participants that interviews once again were to be recorded, and highlighted formality of the interview process interview process according to literature, literature and published work sort of retrospectively. Telephone interviews were also conducted in a private setting, and at the same time, to help reduce a bias, an interview bias. Participants were informed that it would be important to provide views in relation to long-term conditions according to literature and healthcare. The topic guides or instruments included a closing discussion which reflected on themes, points raised during interviews, provided points raised during interview, providing an opening for participants to reflect on the interview content. Participants were also provided research scientist, investigator, and again the academic supervisory team contact information, and telephone interviews were implemented and audio recorded after taking consent. Supplementary information in this works or in the formal publication highlights the sort of topic guides implemented by way of qualitative inquiry across sort of the four cohorts. So the next audio podcast in this series will highlight some aspects in around this sites where participants were recruited from, and also participant identification, and also some aspects in relating to that as well. So this ends this audio podcast aligned to the LabZtorm Impact v.3. This audio podcast seek to highlight some aspects and around the topic guides, telephone interviews, and schedules and support. This has been an audio podcast aligned to research works from in nephrology. What, if any, are the healthcare educational needs for patients patients with CKD or chronic kidney disease? This has been another audio podcast aligned to a Storm Robotics blockade and another Storm Robotics production. Thank you for tuning in.